home in a bygone day. They're the eyes of a man whose lust knows no bounds, who lives but for corrupting others to a life of carnal pleasures and lewd designs.
Well, hello everyone. Welcome back to Horny Creek. My name is Mark. With me, as always, is my fiance, Carol. How you doing today, Carol?
Hey, what's up?
How much? It's been a good week here. It is April 28th,
Sure.
1998. Carol.
Could you be more confused?
Could I? Well, maybe. Maybe I could be.
This episode of Horny Creek, I gotta say, I think Pacey wins the horniest award for this episode.
Oh, yeah? Do you?
Don't you? The man tried to create a menage a trois with snails.
I guess that's true.
Creeped on Joey. And then kissed her.
Yeah.
Spoilers.
A menage a trois with snails.
So, yeah. It was an interesting episode.
Yeah, he put... well, go ahead and
Okay. So we start
I don't
out...
want to go too far.
Right. So we start out with Dawson lamenting that Jen hasn't asked to be friends or spend time with him.
Right.
And Joey's explaining, you got to be prepared that she might want to date other people. And
Maybe she doesn't want to be friends.
yeah. So
Have you ever tried to be friends with... Oh, look at that face.
what?
The first interruption. It always takes you by surprise. Have you ever tried to be friends with an ex?
Oh, yeah. Of course. Everybody tries it.
Of course.
Everybody tries it. Very few succeed, but everybody tries.
I'm not a big fan of being friends with an ex.
Have you done it?
I have tried. I know
You didn't stay closed very long. I can see it all over your face.
It didn't stay what?
I said you didn't stay clothed very long. I see all over your face.
No.
No, that's not how that went?
Other way.
Oh, you just ended up fighting, or?
Well, like sort of a Dawson type situation, I guess. See, when you get broken up with and you say, let's stay friends, the guy is always going to try to do something to get the girl back. Mm-hmm. Or at least has that in his head. Hey, if I change this, if I change that, I can win the girl back.
Right.
But, so, that was the situation that I'm thinking of. Was there a situation? There might have been one situation where, well, let's be friends, and we didn't remain clothed very long. But that's not the situation I was thinking about.
But yes, I have attempted several times to be friends with an ex.
And how does that normally work out?
You don't stay friendly.
You don't stay clothed very long?
Or friendly.
What does that mean? Angry sex? I hate you.
I'm just saying, it goes one way or the other, but it's never normal.
One way or another. Is that what that song's about?
I don't think so.
I'm gonna meet you. Yeah.
I think it's about stalking.
Ooh, oh, really? Interesting.
Because I'm going to get you. I'll get you. Yeah. It's weird.
Blondie, explain yourself. I'm sorry. Deborah Harry, explain yourself.
But I mean, that's what the episode's mainly focusing on is what's going to happen with Dawson and Jen, and is she going to date other people, and how's that going to go, and are they going to be friends? And
it focuses on what's happening.
yeah. I don't understand what's happening.
That's
right
the
now.
theme song to What's Happening.
Uh-huh.
I don't have.
Is it?
I don't have.
Is it, Mark?
I don't have that. I know you weren't a fan. We talked about that off air when they mentioned it on Friends. You were like, "I've never seen What's Happening."
Yeah.
But anyway, I don't have that ready to go. Like I have, some other things, like St. Elsewhere. Oh.
No. So
I've been told I can't do that anymore. So.
Correct. So Jen does finally, approach Dawson and ask to be friends. Mm-hmm. And he asks for her to hang out. Mm-hmm. Mark, come on. He's like hovering over the St. Elsewhere button. I'm trying to talk. I am trying
the
to
St.
talk.
Elsewhere button. Go ahead.
Now I lost my fucking train of thought.
Pushing your buttons. Jen asks him to be friends.
Yeah, and then he's like, okay, let's hang out. And she's like, well, actually, I have a date.
Not that close of friends.
So he's like, oh, well, then why don't we all hang out? I have a date too, which he didn't. But earlier in the episode, Pacey had pointed out that it seemed like a girl in their class likes Dawson.
Which it did seem like.
Which, yeah, that was
weirdly.
Weird. I think she did like Dawson and that maybe she was trying to save face.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Maybe.
But he goes and invites her to be his date to this carnival that Jen and what the fuck's his name? The football player.
Brick.
No.
It's a character.
Clark Kent. I don't know.
Clark Kent. His name is Bruce. Is it Wayne?
Oh, God.
Do they all have two first names? You know how the Marvel thing is they all have alliterative names? Like Peter Parker.
Which is also two first names.
Yeah, I guess that's true. But like Reed Richards.
Sure.
Others, I can't think of any other ones off the top of my head. But anyway, is that the thing with the DC superheroes? Do they all have two first names?
Maybe. I don't
Wonder
know.
Woman?
So, I'm the one that's supposed to have
Allen.
ADHD.
Barry Allen.
Can I say that it's really difficult to maintain concentration when you purposely go out of your way to distract me like this?
Who's
and
the
it
Green
seems almost
Lantern?
cruel.
Hal what's the Green Lantern's name? Hal something. Hal Holbrook. He played a hell of a Lincoln. Or he played a hell of Mark Twain. It's Hal something. Hal Jordan. Jordan's also a first name. Oh my God. We fucking cracked the code.
I'm sure it was a well-kept secret.
The disdain with which you're looking at me makes everything worth it. This is important shit, Carol.
You literally spit on me. An actual piece of food.
I did.
From across the fucking room.
I'm so sorry.
Look, there it is.
What is it?
I don't know. It came out of your mouth and landed on my shoulder.
I'm sorry. I'm excited.
Ugh.
And you're not. You want to?
What was I saying? The football player and Jen.
Hey, you want to stay friends? Anyway, so yeah, Superman. What's his name? His name's not Clark. It's Jim.
Is it important that we figure that out?
I don't know.
I don't think so. The football player and Jen are going to a carnival. Yeah. So Dawson invites this chick and she says yes. He didn't tell her it was a double date. Like she
with
shows
his ex.
Yeah. And before she even would agree to go out with him, she required reassurance that he was definitely ready to date, that he wasn't getting in there too soon.
Mm-hmm. Which is weird if she didn't like him.
Yeah.
I think you're right. I think she was trying to save face.
Yeah. So, yeah, she agrees to go and then ends up on a double date with his ex. She's pissed. And then Dawson and the football player just get into a pissing contest over Jen, which has to feel awesome to, Dawson's date. And then he wins a teddy bear. and hesitates about which girl to give it to.
That's fucked up. Mm-hmm. They're doing this like pitch thing where you have to knock over the milk bottles or whatever. And I've never seen a carnival do this because most of the games are rigged.
Right.
My mom worked at a carnival for like a summer or whatever and learned how all the games were rigged. But apparently they were up against each other. It was him and Cliff. That's his name. Cliff.
Okay.
It was him and Cliff again, and whoever knocked over the most milk bottles won the prize.
Yeah,
most of the
weird.
time, you have to knock over all the milk bottles, and there's one that's like impossible to knock over.
I think that's what happened, though. That when he won it, he knocked over all the milk bottles. I don't think they were against each other. I think they were paying at the same time and going at the same time, trying to knock over all the milk bottles.
He left one. Dawson left one, and Cliff left two.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, because I noticed that. Yeah, it's so funny. Pistol Pete Maravich actually. Fuck. Okay, I won't even get into the story. I start going off on a tangent, and your eyes get all wide and annoyed.
I don't know what you're talking about. That's all.
Pistol Pete Maravich was an insanely talented basketball player, and he went to a carnival one time, and all the basketball shoot ones, the way they rig them is a lot of times they tilt the rim, so you have to basically get it right in. If it hits the rim at all, it bounces right out. And they shrink the rim a little bit, or they make it smaller so that it's just slightly bigger than the basketball. A regulation rim, you can fit 2 basketballs.
Oh, wow. Okay.
In. So that's how it's usually rigged. But Pete Maravich was so good, like he had to make 3 in a row, and he just swished 3 in a row.
Wow.
And they're like, okay, here's a prize. And he's like, oh, I'd like to go again. They're like, no, you can't. You can't go again. He's like, what if I step back 10 feet farther? And they were like, all right, fine. And so he stepped back 10 feet farther, and he made 3 in a row again. And they gave him another prize. And he's like, what if I? And they're like, no, get out. But anyway, so Cliff clearly lets Dawson win.
You think?
Yes, it's subtle, but the way like he missed because he beat Dawson like the first 2 times or whatever, and then this last time he like intentionally missed.
Do you think Cliff is a good guy?
I think he's trying to be. I think he's kind of dumb.
Yeah. I mean, he didn't even realize that Jen and Dawson were dating last episode, but.
Yeah.
So when Dawson hesitates about who's getting this bear, and then I believe he gave it to Jen.
I don't remember. We go to commercial.
I think he gave it to Jen.
Okay.
I don't know. Either way, him and his date go talk.
Yeah, well, she's like, I think he's hesitating, looking back and forth, and she goes, I think we need to talk. And then they go to commercial.
Yeah.
And we learn about Alka-Seltzer. Plop, plop, fizz, fizz. Oh, what a relief it is.
So she said, like, she's upset with him, and he admits, he still has feelings for Jen, and she's like, did you ever notice how Cliff's eyes crinkle when he smiles or something like that, or
some
twinkle?
bullshit.
And he's like, oh, okay, you like him. That's why you're upset.
Yeah.
Whatever.
I don't believe it. I agree with you. I hadn't thought about it, but I agree with you.
So they're like, okay, let's go see if we can, break these 2 up, basically.
Right.
And they rudely separate them getting onto the Ferris wheel.
Yeah.
Like, she grabs Cliff. She's like, hey, we haven't spent any time together. And, like, just drags him into a car. And then Dawson gets in with Jen. Now, why Jen even allowed that to happen? Because I'm sorry.
Why did Jen allow a double date to happen?
The whole thing's stupid. But they get in the carnival car thing, the Ferris wheel. And get into a huge fight.
Yeah.
It's no good. And she's like, I don't even want to be friends anymore.
I don't think you can have a fight that passionate and not have feelings for someone.
True. For sure. But, I don't know. So at the end of the episode, they're just like not friends.
Yeah.
So sad. This started,
I guess.
this started
it's not going to last.
with Pacey pointing out to Dawson too, like, what you need to do is not treat Jen
Not put her on
special.
a pedal stool. Yeah.
And then she'll miss
Pedal
being your
stool.
girlfriend, basically.
I think I said pedal stool, but pedestal. Yeah, don't. Basically, what he says is you can't try to get back together with her. You have to pretend like you don't care and like you're moving on, and then she'll come to you, which is correct. That is the correct advice.
But it's not what Dawson does.
Not at all.
I don't think it's physically possible for Dawson to do that. I think he wears his heart on his sleeve. He's no good at manipulation or lying.
He is the human equivalent of a golden retriever.
Right?
Like, he just, like, follows her on, ooh, Jen, Jen, Jen.
But, I mean, that's pretty much the storyline of Dawson.
Yeah.
His parents have a little something going on here, too.
Oh, yeah, they do.
Where at breakfast, the phone rings, and his mom answers, and she's just like, we'll talk about it in the office. Or no, his dad answers, and then gives the phone to mom.
Right.
She's like, we'll talk about it in the office. Okay, bye. Mm-hmm. We find out it's the guy she was sleeping with.
Yeah, it's the guy that was fucking her.
Because Mitch is like, oh, that guy sounded familiar. And she's like, it's Bob. And he flips out. And she's like, oh, it was work related. He didn't mean anything by it.
She starts defending him.
Which was the mistake. She really, really shouldn't have done that. Because he's like, I'm not even mad at Bob. I'm mad at you because
Right.
you're defending Bob.
Right.
So
she initially handled the situation fine. He called and she's like, this is for work, don't call me here, basically. Mm-hmm. And hung up, got off the phone with him very quickly. And that's fine. Like, because that's his fault for calling it home. Like, how presumptuous of this asshole.
right.
But, yeah, defending him, that's the mistake. The mistake is, like, all you have to say is, yes, understood. There should be boundaries. I will let him know. Mm-hmm. That's all you have to say.
But yeah, so she fucks that up. And then later in the episode, poor his dad.
Poor John Wesley Shipp TV's The Flash.
He says
Barry Allen.
He says to Dawson, has anyone called the house that I should know about? Mm-hmm. To which Dawson replies, no, I don't think there was any messages for you. And he's like, that's not what I asked you.
Right. That I should know about.
Yeah.
And Dawson's like, oh, he hasn't called Dad.
Yeah. It's so awful. But then he does.
Terrible situation for Dawson to be in.
Yeah. Later, the phone rings, and it's him, and she talks to him, right? Like, I think.
I don't
or am
think
I
so.
imagining that?
Yeah, I think you're imagining that. I don't remember him calling again at all.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure that's a one-off.
All right.
The end of that storyline is them, like, dancing together.
Oh, yeah, you're right. They were, like, all, like, lovey and stuff, and it was good. So maybe they will get back together.
Well, they're back together.
Yeah. I mean, can you really call the relationship they have back together? It's pretty broken.
He's bitching about couples therapy and stuff like that. He has the attitude that I think a lot of people do in this, especially men in this situation. Men are more fragile than women are, especially when it comes to this kind of thing. Where he's like, why should I go to therapy? I'm not the one that has a problem or whatever. You're the one that, and it's like, yeah, you're in a relationship though, so like her problem is your problem,
right?
Not like that's not how it works, dude. It's not fix yourself and then come back to me. That's not how that works.
Yeah. So the other big thing here, though, is that
The aforementioned three-way,
yeah, Pacey,
which turns out a little more violent than you would think.
right? So Pacey is failing biology.
Yeah.
And
Don't know much about biology.
He asked the teacher, is there anything that I can do to not fail this class?
And it's not a female teacher, so he can't say, is
Right.
there anything
Right,
I
right.
can do to pass this class?
There is no subtext here.
Luckily, though, it's a male teacher, and he's like, well, I am gay, so there is something, Pacey.
No,
He doesn't say that.
he gives him an extra credit project
Yep.
with a partner.
Mm-hmm.
And it turns out the partner is Joey.
Joey!
And he's like,
Whoa.
they're both like, oh my God, I can't work with them.
Right.
And then he's like, why are you doing this? I thought you have good grades. Tell me what you got in this exam, blah, blah, blah. And then she admits that she got a 98% and that she's only doing the extra credit because she wants to
Get 100?
No, she wants to be perfect and get the best grade so that she can get a scholarship to get out of Cape Side.
Yeah, she wants to get out of Cape Side. She's like, why do you think I work so hard at these classes? Because the scholarship's the only way I can get out of it. Go to college and get out of here and blah, 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 and stuff like that. But it doesn't make any sense because she got a 98 on the test. So it's like, you can't improve an A. That's an A. What is she going to get?
You can improve an A. You can get more than a 4.0. My brothers did, who got full ride scholarships to the University of Michigan.
Well, congratulations for your fucking brag about your brothers, but that's not how getting more than a 4.0 works, Carol.
Okay.
There's not a grade above A that's like alpha or fucking fluttergork. There is no grade above A. A's the highest you can do. The way you get more than a 4.0 is you take advanced placement courses and get A's in those classes, which count more than a regular class. But Cape Side may not offer advanced placement classes. My high school that I went to did not offer advanced placement classes. You literally could not get more than a 4.0. You could get 100% on every project. You could do extra credit. And, you can't earn more than 100% of the grade. You could get like 105% or whatever, but you're not getting more than a 4.0 by doing that. That's not how you get more than a 4.0.
Okay. Wow, you seem really angry about this.
I seem angry because, I don't know. I'm not angry. I'm just explaining how it works.
Okay.
I'm excited.
Sure. So Joey's trying to get out of Cape Side. She's talking a lot about that throughout the episode.
Yeah.
And they have these snails, and they have to get the snails to reproduce.
So that's their project.
And
Getting 2 snails to fuck.
but the snails don't fuck. They are asexual,
Yeah.
right? That's like they produce on their own. Is that asexual?
Yeah, asexual reproduction, that's correct.
But Pacey is so dumb that he doesn't understand this.
Right. Well,
And-
can I explain real quick before you get into the joke of the thing?
Sure.
So their actual project is the temperature of the water has to be correct, and like the pH has to be balanced, and like all these biologic factors need to be met in order for them to want to reproduce, and that's what they're supposed to be doing.
And well, that's what they're trying to do.
Well, that's what Joey's trying to do. What Pacey doesn't, because Pacey doesn't understand any of this.
Yeah.
What he's trying to do is,
She leaves because she's done trying for the day, and he stays and gets a pretty snail from the neighboring tank and puts the pretty snail in there because he thinks that will entice them because it's a more attractive snail.
he's like, maybe the male snail is like, a male person just needs like an extra snail in there, a little snail on snail on snail action.
Right. So basically he tried to set up a snail menage a trois,
Right.
which he explains to Joey in the morning when their snails are gone.
Yeah, there's empty shells and this one snail.
Because it's a carnivorous snail. It eats other snails.
And it fucking ate their snails.
So they decide they have to go get replacement snails.
Yeah,
This seems dumb, too.
I agree.
I would have just told the teacher. But, I mean, I guess they want the extra credit and they think they won't get it. Which, I mean, truly killing his snail may hurt their chance of extra credit.
Yeah, I would think so.
Snails don't cost much. Go to the fucking pet store
Right.
and buy a couple snails for like $1.
Does Cape Side not have a pet store?
I'm
Is
sure.
there not a fish market in Cape Side?
I mean, apparently they have a pond where they can go get these snails.
Well, it's the creek, right?
Well, I thought she said pond.
Yeah, I don't know. It's an offshoot of the creek.
Yeah.
Dawson's Pond. It's when they inevitably spin the show off into Dawson Babies. It'll be at the pond. Dawson's Pond. Dawson babies. They're
Yeah.
still horny.
So instead of going to the carnival with Dawson and Jen and the other two
Yeah,
people,
instead of that shit show.
right, they're spending their Saturday finding snails.
In a swamp filled with mosquitoes, probably.
And while they're doing this,
Boston mosquitoes, too. The rudest mosquitoes of all. Oh, you call that blood?
you're so weird. Pacey manages
Say hi to your mother for me.
Pacey manages to fuck this shit up too.
Yeah.
So they had to take a boat to get to the pond.
Yeah, what's her name? Joey's boat.
Right.
Joey.
And the tide comes in, and he didn't tie off the boat like he was supposed to.
Because he's an idiot.
And so now they're like up to their like waist in water, and their boat is floating down the creek.
Yep.
So they have to maneuver themselves all the way back to their truck, wherever the fuck that was,
All right.
in all this water, and they're soaking wet and cold, and Joey is fucking pissed.
Yeah.
And he gives her a blanket to change into that he had in his truck.
Right. Because you don't want the wet clothes on you.
Right. Makes sense. And then he peeks at her while she's changing, watches her in his mirror like an asshole.
Yeah, what a pig. And then he like realizes, he's like, oh, she has a body. I never realized it.
Well, she does not dress in a way that like highlights that fact. So
I guess, but like, she's pretty.
yeah, she's pretty, but like they've never really spent, I guess, enough time together. I don't know, but yeah, all of a sudden he realizes that she's attractive and he wants to be with her.
Oh, Joey. I don't know if I could get over that though.
What?
I don't think I could moan Joey in bed. Joey.
Why?
Because I would expect the reply to be like, yeah, it's good. How you doing?
Jeez,
Because Joey, it's a guy's name.
you're such a freak.
And I am afraid of homosexuality.
Okay. So they kind of make up and end up going to the carnival together.
Do they?
Yes.
Oh, okay, I don't remember they go to the carnival.
Yeah, I mean, like, they talk. She's like, home, Jeeves, and all smiley. And, yeah, I thought they went to the carnival because that's
I
where
don't
he goes
know.
to talk to Dawson and tells him that he wants to kiss
You're
Joey.
You're right. He does. He's like, hey, Doss.
Yeah.
I think what he does, I think he drops her off at home. I don't think she's there with him. He drops her at her house and then goes to the carnival to talk to Dawson and say, hey, I want to kiss Joey. Are you cool with it?
Right.
And Dawson's like, of course I'm cool with it. Why wouldn't I be? And then 5 seconds later, he's like, no, don't do it. I'm not cool with it. And then he's like, okay. And then he's like, no, I'm cool with it. It's fine. And he's like, oh, all right. And then he goes to her place where the
And-
kiss takes place.
Yeah. And then he is trying to tell her he likes her. And she's like, I don't understand. And he's like, well, let me put it this way. And he kisses her. Mm-hmm. She's like, oh my God, why'd you do that? And he's like, I spent the day being confused and attracted and something else. And she's like, well, I was confused.
She's like, I had a good time with you. Maybe we can be friends, but
Yeah.
I don't want to have sex with you.
So she shoots him down.
Yeah, poor Pacey.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, it seemed like they had pretty good chemistry. I don't know. I mean, I guess it's just... He said, like, if you kissed me back, you'd be thinking about somebody else, wouldn't you? And she's like, yeah. So, I mean, I
She's
guess
still
it's just
hung up on
because...
Doss.
Yeah, it's because of Dawson. I think she just can't see anybody else because she's so on him. But,
Yeah, she wants to be on him.
right. She is stuck on him. So, and then Dawson all of a sudden is like, Pacey, wait, you know what we talked about? Don't do it. And he's like, oh, too late.
Yeah, I did it.
And he gets all upset.
And he's like, yeah, she didn't.
No, then he's like, I'm just kidding.
Oh, yeah, that's right, he lies.
Yeah, he tells him, that, like, oh, yeah, we're going to date now and all this stuff. And he's so upset. And he's like, oh, I was just kidding you. It's like, but you need to figure out what you want.
Exactly.
You like the blonde or the brunette? That's
Right.
kind of where we end it, so.
What are you, Archie?
Right.
And I'm Jughead.
He looks like Jughead.
He does. Who's Reggie, though? Oh, fucking Cliff.
There you go.
Cliff is Reggie.
Yeah.
This
Wow.
Is, this is just Archie Comics, isn't it?
On a creek. Hey.
Archie on a creek.
Horny Creek.
That's how they sold it. That's how Kevin Williamson sold it. No, Kevin Williamson kicked the fucking door in at the WB and was like, "I'm here, bitches!"
The fuck?
And he's like, "I'm gonna make it rain," and he threw a bunch of money in the air, and he's like, "Look at all this fucking money," because he made Scream. He did Scream, and then I Know What You Did Last Summer, and he made a shit ton of money for Warner Brothers. So they were like, "Do whatever you want."
Right.
And that's how he sold the show.
Works for me. I like the show.
But yeah, that's the episode. Carol.
So you can write us at latefee1994AOL.com.
Do it.
Check out our website at www.retrolatefee.com. And share the tapes with your friends.
All right, we'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye.